This is Orlando Sentinel Now.
Hello, it's Wednesday, November 10th. Rich Pope here with Desiree Stennett, Austin Fuller, and Mike Lafferty. And today we're going to talk about vaccinations for children here in Orange County. Also, we're going to talk about Thanksgiving dinner. It's going to cost you more this year. And we're going to look at election supervisors here in Florida. GOP election supervisors have some concerns. We'll find out why. But we're going to start here with Desiree Stennett. So, Desiree, yesterday, it seemed like the first rollout of the vaccinations for children 5 to 11 happened at Orange County schools yesterday. How did it go?
Went well. Yesterday was the first day of a 4-day stretch, starting yesterday and skipping Friday, but going through Saturday, where Orange County Public Schools has decided to open up all 22 of its high schools, a few a day, to just make it easier for families to get their kids between 5 and 11 vaccinated against COVID. The FDA just approved for emergency use the vaccine for kids. And yesterday we went to University High out in East Orange County, and it started at 4, and before 4 o'clock, there was already dozens of parents with their young children lined up and waiting to get the vaccine to protect their kids.
For the most part, it seems like Orange County feels like they have enough vaccinations to go around.
Absolutely. Yesterday, just at University High School, which was one of 6 high schools that were doing vaccines yesterday, they had 500 doses prepared of the smaller doses for children, plus some for older kids and for adults if other members of the family needed to be vaccinated as well. And many more vaccines were available at the other schools. And what we were told yesterday was that if the school system does exhaust their supply, if there is a huge demand that surpasses what they expected, the health department is ready to provide them with more to not only get them through this week, but for future vaccines as well.
Yeah, looking at your article, you talked to some of the children that went and got vaccinations. Some nerves there from them, right?
Oh, absolutely. I talked to a few 8-year-olds yesterday, third graders, and they all said pretty much the same thing, that they were very nervous beforehand. They all wanted to get vaccinated, but they were afraid it would hurt. Honestly, when I got vaccinated, so was I. But they said that it did hurt a little bit just as they got the shot, but it was over in a second, and they were just fine afterwards.
Yeah, how about parents of children? It seemed like that was one of the concerns, is convincing parents to take their children to get the vaccination. The ones that were there, obviously, they were behind it, but what were their take on it?
Yes, so the parents who brought their kids yesterday, generally speaking, the ones that I spoke to were vaccinated already. One father said that he was sort of the quote guinea pig of his family and had been vaccinated several months ago. And he had been taking his family to Magic games again. And for him, he just saw this as a chance to protect his children and also to protect other members of the family and their friends and neighbors as well. So the parents we talked to seemed mostly glad that these vaccinations were now available for children, and also that the school system had made it a bit easier to get vaccinated. One dad sort of said that he showed up yesterday simply because it worked in his schedule.
Can you give us information on how individuals can go about this? You mentioned this is the start of a 4-day stretch. What do they need to do?
If you go to ocps.net, they will have the list of all of the locations for today, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Today and Thursday, it will be from 4 to 8 p.m., and then on Saturday, 9 to 1. And the list of each of the schools as these vaccination sites roll will be on ocps.net.
All right, thanks for that, Desiree. You can go to orlandosentinel.com and read more about it, and of course, more updates on COVID-19 and vaccinations. All right, moving forward here to Austin Fuller. So, Austin, Thanksgiving, it's a couple weeks away. I'm excited, but it looks like it's going to cost us a little bit more to enjoy that Thanksgiving dinner. What's going on?
Sure. And if you've been shopping recently, you might have noticed that you're probably already paying more for your groceries. The cost of groceries in September were up 4.5% compared to that time a year ago. Meat, poultry, fish, and eggs specifically are up 10.5% over the last year. Your weekly grocery bill is probably up, and you should expect the same at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, but for Thanksgiving, the most part, it seems like the turkey might be the main culprit on this one. Obviously, the main dish, but that seems to be the one with the biggest price tag right now.
Well, if your turkey's your main dish, wholesale prices for frozen whole turkey hens are averaging $1.22 per pound this year. That's up from $1.07 last year and 89 cents in 2019. It is closer to what prices were in 2016 when it was about $1.17 per pound. This is all according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And, people last year, because of the pandemic, were gathering in smaller groups, having less people over. So they might not have spent as much last year. So if you had a small gathering last year, bought a smaller turkey, and this year you're buying a bigger turkey for a bigger group at a higher price, it might seem particularly expensive.
Right. You talked to a local turkey farmer. What's his take right now on this as far as the uptick on the prices?
Sure. I talked to the owner of Lake Meadow Naturals Farm in Ocoee. He said his prices are up about 4 cents a pound for the customer, but he estimated his expenses are up 10 to 14 cents per pound to farm the turkey. And, he said his bills for labor, packaging, transportation, equipment, a part if something breaks in his equipment, all his costs are up.
Yeah, tell me about that. I found this interesting in your article. Talked about there being plenty of food, and if people start panic buying, that's actually going to raise the price. It's going to cause a bigger issue.
Right, don't panic buy. If we've learned anything in the last year, don't clean out the shelves for things you don't need. If everyone goes and buys 10 turkeys and there's per person and there's none left, then it actually raises the costs because the grocery store has to rush more products. They have to restock the shelves, so expenses go up that way too.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Well, I'm excited for Thanksgiving, so we'll keep an eye out for the prices of turkey, and I'm excited about eating them. So appreciate that, Austin. Go ahead and go to orlandosentinel.com for more information. We're going to go ahead and move forward here to Mike Lafferty, and we're going to go to Republican supervisors concerned about the election in 2020 and the controversy surrounding it. What's going on, Mike?
The impetus for this editorial was some news coverage of Lake County Supervisor of Elections, Alan Hayes, who's a Republican, really going off on his fellow Lake County Republicans who've been making a lot of noise about wanting to have an election audit conducted in Florida. For what reason is kind of mysterious. I mean, Donald Trump won the state pretty handily, so it's unclear really what they're getting at. But Hayes and other election supervisors, and I should hasten to add that the vast majority of the election supervisors in Florida are Republicans. They are concerned that this is creating distrust in the election system. Hayes has a little bit of a history of his own of creating distrust. He was a primary sponsor of some bills about a decade ago that were trying to outlaw Sharia law being used in Florida courts as a justification by judges for their decisions. No one was doing that, but nevertheless, the boogeyman at the time were Muslims, and so he was stoking those fires. But in any event, now suddenly these election supervisors are worried that this election fraud issue is creating doubt about their ability to fairly and accurately conduct elections.
Yeah, and editorial goes into it. It just seems late. Like, why now? Where were they at day one?
Yeah, good question. Because this whole issue started bubbling up before the election when former President Trump said that the only way he would lose the election is if it was rigged. And of course, he kept beating that drum and kept beating that drum after the election, all the way through the insurrection on January 6th. And he just keeps beating the drum, and his followers are doing the same. So yeah, people are starting to doubt the integrity of elections. I guess our question was, where were these supervisors a year ago? Why weren't they issuing forth statements condemning the lies that are being told about elections then? Who knows?
The ship's pretty much sailed, and it's hard to reverse this at this point. It seems like the damage has already been done.
Yeah, this is basically a moment of collective psychosis among some segment of the population of the United States. And, it's going to be hard to unring. Well, I don't think you can unring this bell. A lot of damage has been done. And I think these supervisors recognize that. They just should have acted much earlier and much more aggressively to counter it, rather than just letting this thing fester. And now that's where we are today.
All right. Well, you can read the editorial right now on orlandosentinel.com. Get into that one. But we're going to call it quits for today. Appreciate you being with us. But I want to point out, if we'd like you to become a subscriber, go to orlandosentinel.com/subscribe and go ahead and support our work. We always do appreciate that. But for now, we're going to go ahead and call it quits until tomorrow. Until next time, I'm Rich, Desiree, Austin, and Mike. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Watch Orlando Sentinel Now live every weekday at noon on our Facebook page and on orlandosentinel.com.